But if you always stay in one place, you're never going to know where on the map you do or don't want to go.
I mean, I could not agree with you more on that. Like that, and obviously, like I hear that all the time too. Like I've been wanting to buy a laundromat for decades, and you're like, well, why haven't you? Well, I mean, you've got to take the action, and listen, a lot of people probably don't know my story, but when I bought my first laundromat, it went horribly. I lost a ton of money. And I talk about this all the time. I've gone into a lot of detail about it. Lost episode 1 of the podcast. If you haven't heard it yet, go if you want a misery loves company kind of thing. It's a miserable story because I lost a lot of money and made a lot of mistakes and all of that. But man, I learned a ton for one. I grew a ton for two, and I'm like a decade down the line now, and I'm like, man, despite how awful it all felt and felt like it was going, and how like much of a failure I felt like, and I look back on the last 10 years, and I'm like, man, it's been pretty good considering, like I feel pretty good about where I'm at right now, despite having gone through all that. And probably more to the point, because I went through all of that. So, if anybody's out there listening who's afraid to take some action, to make a move, something like that, hopefully you can take some solace in both of our stories here where, sometimes you just got to take a leap and on a long enough time horizon, tends to work out if you don't quit.